Una cascada de agua por aquí, otra cascada de agua por allá.
Water over here and another over there. And the living room began flooding, and so did the kitchen and everywhere. And all I was worried about was Melissa. I spent the time of the hurricane sitting on the sofa with my daughter. The entire world was sleeping and snoring, and Melissa, her brother, and I stayed up till the morning.
The night Hurricane Maria swept through the small mountain town of Cielos is a moment in time Melissa Rivera says she'll never forget. That night, in addition to losing power, she almost lost her daughter.
There was a moment when she started coughing, and she didn't stop. I was afraid. I had to suction the fluid from her throat, but there was still fluid.
Doctors diagnosed Melissa with severe scoliosis, cerebral palsy, and a seizure condition when she was just a child. Since the storm, caring for her disabled daughter has been much more difficult.
With the hurricane, our lives totally changed. Currently, we do not know what to do. We need a strong generator because she needs AC 24/7. Her life depends on it. She uses suction machines and therapy machines.
The devices that keep Melissa alive rely on power, something the family hasn't been with for more than half a year. The Rios Rivera family says every day without electricity is the continuation of a nightmare.
My biggest fear is that I stay sleeping, and when I wake up, she's not breathing anymore. That's why I don't sleep.
At night, there's no peace. As she lays in the darkness listening to the hum of the generators, she and her neighbors keep working around the clock.
I constantly have to be over her if she coughs, if she spits, if she starts choking. She depends on her machines, her AC.
For many families in Puerto Rico's mountain communities, generators have become a necessary yet expensive part of life.
It's 4 times more to pay for gas than the monthly electric bill.
The family relies on 2 generators, one on loan by a relative who fled to the States, the other more than 14 years old, and according to Martha, it's due to fail at any moment.
Sadly, we do not have the means for a good generator for gasoline because we can't pay anymore. It's been too long waiting and waiting. It always gets more complicated.
In need of a newer generator strong enough to power all Melissa's devices, the family turned to FEMA for help.
I made 3 appeals to FEMA. I called FEMA and gave them my information again. They wrote all my information wrong.
The family says FEMA denied their application, requiring a receipt for their old generator, something they didn't have. The family then applied for FEMA's disaster aid loan. The SBA denied that too, citing, "We conclude that there's no reasonable assurance that your household budget can support the additional debt that would result from a disaster loan." Despite the lack of power and aid, shutting off the generator isn't an option. In order to pay for the gas that costs them nearly $140 a week, Melissa's father, Jose, works odd jobs in construction and landscaping, despite having health issues of his own.
My husband, what he receives from Social Security is $700 a month. That is why he wakes up in the morning, and the money that he makes that day is the same that he uses to pay for the gasoline that day.
While many see FEMA as part of the problem, most of the blame has been directed towards the island's power company, PREPA, and its subcontractors, who some residents say spend more time socializing than working.
I think when somebody gonna do something, it's gonna do it immediately. It's gonna do it now. It's so easy to pull out the car and say, let's go and see what's going on. Let's see if whatever she's saying is true. Even for the doubt, for the benefit. No empathy at all. It's just they follow commands.
After one of Melissa's recent convulsion episodes, Dr. Sally Priester approached a PREPA contractor.
If I invite you guys just to see the case on that X scenario, and you guys can bring with you like one certain X scenario and to do it in a different way, because you know, in the way that PREPA is working with Puerto Rico, it's bullshit what is happening to our community. It's not your fault, it's PREPA's fault, and it's the party fault. So
we're trying everything we can.
But for some, it's not soon enough.
The companies outside of Puerto Rico that come here are worse than the ones here because I see them at the park sitting and laughing. They don't care. They're just watching for hours to pass and hours to pass so that they can hop into their trucks and leave. They don't do nothing.
No hacen nada.
Frustrated with a system and government many feel are both inefficient and ineffective, Martha says she can't understand why residents in the mountain communities still are without power.
Esto no es posible.
This is not possible. How do some people have light and others don't if there is a necessity? This is an emergency. How is it that we still do not have light? I don't understand.
Caring for Melissa is difficult, but it's a routine that for her mother has become as natural as breathing.
Que le toca su comida.
It is a part of me. I don't even need to check the clock to know that she needs to be fed and have her diaper changed. How she is. She's still my daughter and I love her. I adore her. And if I have to give her my last drop of blood, I will.
Still, she prays.
The first thing I do before I go to sleep is I pray. I ask God, Jesus, and the Virgin Mary for her health and for them to take care of her. I wish to have a strong generator that powers the entire house and gasoline to fuel it.
But the answer to her prayers would be to have the electricity returned to her home.
Getting power back will mean everything to me. I will stop hearing the sounds of the generator. I don't have to worry about the gasoline. Complete happiness.
Felicidad por completo.